He's got it.
Hey everybody from YouTube. This video is about why you don't want to sit out windy days when you're fishing. I was out at Lunga Reservoir last weekend and I went out in the afternoon. I was the only one crazy enough to launch when the winds were anywhere from 20 to 30 mile an hour with 40 mile an hour gusts, and it paid off big time. So I'm going to talk about why it paid off big time. So let's get into it. All right, everybody, let's talk about why do you want to fish on windy days, right? So let's get into some of the advantages and disadvantages. All right, let's start with the disadvantages. When it's really windy out there, and I'm sure some of you have experienced this, boat control can be really challenging. There's no doubt about it, right? You're getting pushed all over the place and it can be really irritating. Bass boats are a little bit better than John boats. Kayaks are great if, for instance, I have a Hobie kayak that has a 360-degree control on it, right? So I can actually hold that boat in a position in these kinds of conditions using the foot pedals. So that actually works really well. But yeah, boat control can definitely be challenging. Another big challenge is, or disadvantage is, your casting accuracy can suffer, right? When the wind's really blowing, if you want to do precision casting, especially if you have plastics, or if you're trying to place that bait in a certain location, that can be kind of challenging. Along with that, your ability to detect bites might suffer a little bit because of the conditions, right? So you might miss some fish, especially when you're fishing any kind of finesse fishing that you're trying to do. And then the last one, but the biggest one, is just overall comfort. It can be really irritating trying to fish on windy days. Everything's blowing all over the place. Your boat's getting blown all over the place. You're getting blown into the shore. If you decide to take a break and you're not working whatever you need to work on the boat and you get blown into the shoreline, it can be really, really irritating. But let's talk about the advantages for a minute. One of the big advantages you can potentially have is disrupted visibility. Right, and so with predator fish, because of the wind and the disruption on the surface, it creates disrupted visibility underneath, and predator fish are going to take advantage of that. They're going to feel a little bit more comfortable going on the hunt. Now, in addition to that, one of the biggest advantages on windy days is that the bait fish, or the food and bait fish, are going to get pushed a certain direction, right? And once again, predators are going to sense this, and they're going to set up in those ambush points to take advantage of it. And I'll show you what I mean by ambush points here in a minute. Another big advantage is oxygenation, right? So more oxygen gets pushed into the water because of the disruption on the surface. And a lot of times that can drive up the level of activity and excitement from predator type fish, right? And I definitely saw that last weekend at Lunga with these fish, and they were hitting really, really aggressively and really hard. So oxygenation is another advantage. And then the last one, along with disrupted visibility, is reduced light, right? You don't, especially in clear water lakes, you're not going to have the clear light conditions that you normally would have, and that's to your advantage, right? So in other words, the fish aren't going to be spooked as much. They're going to be a little bit more comfortable, a little bit more aggressive. Now, the one thing you want to keep in mind is obviously color choice, right? You're going to want to have colors that are probably going to want to stand out a little bit more in fishing these kinds of conditions. So anyways, if you're willing to put up with the windy conditions, I can tell you this, there are some distinct advantages, because I almost feel like on windy days, it's going to allow you to figure out that pattern and figure out those specific areas where you should concentrate. And I think if you do that, you're going to have a lot of success. Okay, so let me show you what I'm talking about in terms of like where to fish when you have these kinds of conditions. All right, so here's an, imagine, if you will, lake. You've got the wind coming from left to right. Those are what the arrows represent. And what the first thing you want to do is you want to fish on the side of the lake where the wind is pushing towards, right? So in this case, you don't want to fish on the left side of the lake. you want to fish on the right side of the lake, okay, as we're oriented this direction. Once again, out at Lunga, this side of the lake at Lunga was producing absolutely nothing, no hits, nothing. This side of the lake was producing all the hits, right? So there's definitely some merit to that. But once again, think about it, right? It's pushing all the food, it's pushing all the bait fish that direction. Now, in addition to that, this is where you can kind of get into those specific zones that's going to increase your catch rate, is if you look at where these stars are at, right? These different stars, right? A lot of times these predator fish will set up just on the outside of a point or just on the entrance to an inlet, right, where you've got basically, you know, the water rushing by from the wind, and then you've got this calm area right around the corner from that. And if it's near deeper water, that is a fantastic place to set up, right? So that's what those stars represent. These two stars here, this star here, represents just around the corners on those points where that calm water is. And if you think about it, a lot of predator fish are like people. They don't want to fight the current all the time unless they have to. So they're going to find these areas and they're going to set up in these ambush points. And as the bait fish gets blowing by, they're going to be able to ambush those bait fish. And then finally, the other area is, you know, banks that are directly across from where the wind's blowing, right? So down here at the bottom is an example of that. You got basically the other side of the bank, the wind is blowing into this bank. And if you can find an opposite bank that has structure with deeper water, that is a fantastic place to set up. So anyways, I hope this helps because this is exactly the pattern of what was going on out at Lunga. So let me show you some great footage from the field that demonstrates all this. So let's get to the action. Thanks for watching.
Okay, it is windy out here. Oh my God, all right. Wow. But you never know, right? Play your cards right. Windy, windy, windy. Oh, he's got it. Gotcha. See, there you go. There's the pattern. There's the pattern, right? That's where wind's blowing into. Now that's the normal size of a pickerel, about right like that. So you can see how much bigger those other ones were. Okay, yeah, let's get my jig out. Alright folks, we're going to start off with a jig, simple jig. There's one. Got him. Okay. And as usual, it is a pickerel. What's new? There it is. There he is. He's got it. There, you got him. I got him. Oh, yeah. Oh, my. Whatever this big. Ah, what is it? Is that a cat? Oh, I don't know. No, that's a nice pickerel. That's the one I missed earlier. Yes, sir. Oh, another monster. Oh. God, look at the size of him. Jesus. Woo. Oh, my heavens. Look at him. Woo. What a beauty. Oh, man, that's a fat sucker, too. Oh, wait a minute. Stop it. Lovely, lovely fish. Look at. All right, let's see how big you are. Ooh, another one. Another 24-inch giant. What a beauty, huh? Look at. Oh, easy. Oh, look at. Oh, sorry. Oh, gosh. Oh, that's a bigger one. That is a way bigger pickerel. Oh, that's a nice one too. Oh yeah, look at the size of him. All right, guys, check it out. Look at that monster.